One of the things that I think is really unique about this is that they've been operating out of this building for over 50 years. And I'm not sure of it, but I would bet that this is the only station that has this kind of story still operating in the United States. I'm sure there were many of them in their time, but not that still operate today. It started out as just WVAL, the station they put on in 1963, but it's evolved into Tri-County Broadcasting, where there's 5 stations that operate out of this building now. You can get a little idea of the 5 stations and their personalities through the stickers. Okay, Herb, we're going to kind of take it from the beginning. And so far as I know, the beginning was 1959. What were you doing in 1959, and why did you think, maybe I'll start a radio station?
Well, I was doing television work in Sauk Rapids here, and television and radio work. I worked for a Nearing Garden. And I started to work there in 55. And there was a guy come through several times. He stopped, a guy named Chuck Niles. And he was we talked to him a lot of times, and all of a sudden, why don't you guys start a radio station? Well, Carl and I talked it over, so Carl says, well, why not? So we went ahead with Chuck and sent the application in, but before the application, we had to see such a thing as getting the ground, where you're going to build a station, and we were going to build in Sauk Rapids, and I happened to be lucky enough to get this property, 19 acres.
Now, from the family perspective, Val, how many children do you have at that time?
At that time, we had 5.
Oh, already 5.
Use the microphone.
Yep.
And you can like tilt it back like that. Yeah, there we go. That's probably a good angle.
Well, I guess we had 4. One was born just at the time before we put it on the air. 5. Yeah, we had 5.
So it seems like that's kind of a big family risk with 5 children to change from Herb's established profession and start a brand new thing. How'd you feel about that?
Well, I just went along with it. I was working as an RN at that time,
Okay.
nights. So, and then I had things. So we had income from that.
Okay, all right. You had that one steady income stream
Yep.
coming in. Okay, that makes it even in another way more complicated. You're working, and you have 5 children, and he's starting a brand new business.
Yeah, that is a little complicated.
One thing I was determined, because it was bullhead, I wouldn't say no for an answer, because I know I had the family behind me, and of all this whole thing, Val and I had made up our mind we're going to do it on our own, and nobody's money getting stuck in.
Well, let me ask you this. It's odd, it's unusual, especially today, for a radio station to be in a house, and the nickname of this place that I really like is the Red House That Rocks. Why is the radio station in a house?
Well, if you build it like a radio station can be a house, if you have the rooms set up right, and I said, hey, we're going to build a house, and then we're going to make a radio station out of it. Because if it wouldn't happen, we got something to sell.
And we took our production room board and we somehow wheel it out of the building, put it into the car, and then we set up a studio on site, wherever we needed to do.
And you would even have like turntables and stuff. You would
Oh, yeah.
Turntables,
from there.
everything was done there.
Everything was sent by Marty.
And the announcer in those days had to entertain the people, had to keep the client happy, and it was a monumental task. And think about it. In those old days, you had records that were 2.5 minutes long, and then you had to talk, and then you had to play your commercial sets. You had to fire every one of those and have the breaks tight, and then you are performing like a circus monkey. So
And sometimes they were monkeys.
yeah.
There are 4 stations.
4 stations.
4 or 5 that run out of this equipment. How many active transmitters, if necessary?
Was it 2 per station? We got 8 transmitters out here. But you have WVAL here, and then you have 660 here. And then when you go down at this end, we built 1010 next, and then we built 540 last year. And this was all planned, and this took over maybe about a 5 to 10 year period. Come on, climb aboard, hang on. See, all this is where the ground plate sits. All this has copper underneath it. Get copper.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty far down there.
Yeah, it's pretty far, and there's no way that. Well, yeah, you could probably come in here, but you're not going to. In a very short time, there's going to be someone out here.
I had to walk all the way through the mud back. See, here's.
But as a duck hunter, you're kind of used to that.
Oh, yeah.
No, see, you see, those are the screw and anchors. Those are the piers that it sits on. It's a very small footprint.
Yeah, yeah.
And these coils here are frequency specific. Some of them are allowing the signal to pass, and some of them are impeding the signal. And that's how come you have all these different components out here. Every station is interconnected and intertwined, and that's what makes it so magical.
See, now I can really hear them talk.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a radio's on.
Yeah.
There's no radio.
That's just all
That's the
those
coil
tuning-
singing.
It's almost like
Yeah.
we're inside of a radio.
Well, actually, you are inside a radio. That's radio.
Yeah.
That's radio.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Okay.
Thank you.